And we're rolling. This is the Reside Platform Podcast, episode 12. I'm here with Mr. California, all things leads, all things sales, all things events. Suneet Agarwal.
Lots of events lately, lots of events. I looked at my calendar just about an hour ago, and I've been in Vegas 11 times since last April.
11 times.
I was all, wait a second.
You're like the mayor at this point.
So many events down there between the AI ones with Harry and between like Inman, which I just got back from last night, we're going to talk about. It's been a lot.
Well, with events too, hey, everyone, it's Nick McLean. And, you kind of have to go to these events sometimes. Or maybe you could talk about that. Like, what's the power of the event? Because you find out what's trending, and we're going to talk about what's trending right now. You get to meet people that are in the forefront of innovation, technology. And that was the Inman event. So you just got back to the Inman event. Suneet, tell people that aren't familiar with Inman what Inman is and what is the event.
So, yeah, I learned about Inman my second year as an agent because they put out a ton of written content, and they have a website and newsletter. Has been going on for longer than I've been an agent, and they do bring a lot of good value. The Inman Connect, they have one on the West Coast and one on the East Coast. West Coast one used to be in San Francisco. So it was the first or second real estate conference I ever went to because I could drive there. Right, it was pretty cheap. It was at the Hilton for me at the time. And going to Inman and hanging out throughout the years, I've met so many people who I wouldn't have met at other events. It's a different crowd sometimes, right? I've gotten a lot of differing perspectives because it's not like the Reside and Cheplak live world, right? It's completely different. And they had me speak a lot. So this time, I spoke 3 times.
Wow, you were on stage 3 times.
3 times. The first time was one of our favorite topics, AI for lead gen. So Pat drew for that. I got a ton of great feedback, which if you were there, saw it, thank you. I'm passionate about this. And Nick, you've heard me have this conversation about lead magnets and all this 100 times, so you probably know exactly what I said. But a lot of people there were like, I'd never heard me say that, so that was great. Maybe we'll do a podcast about AI lead magnets sometime, right?
Totally.
But then the second one I spoke about was leverage. Mm-hmm. And they wanted me to kind of blend in VAs because, as I was saying from stage, I'm the king of VAs, which you just call me the king of California. I've been called the king of a lot lately, but they called me the king of VAs. And I said, sure. However, leverage is also hiring, executives in your business here in the U.S., right? Which you're very good at as well, right? So,
great topic. Leverage, great topic.
People want to just say VAs, or tech. And I'm on no, I'm able to run several different organizations by leveraging great people here in the U.S. that allow me to be gone from Vegas and work on my traditional businesses for an hour, right? So then the last one they had was ancillary services. So what are the kind of services can you plug into your core business, the benefits and how to do that? And this is also something that I'm passionate about because I like to make money. And one of the big ones was mortgage, but a big piece of advice that I want to give everybody, which you're very proficient in, I probably learned a lot of this from you, is we have our lists. We have all the leads in our CRMs. And the only way that our traditional businesses, brokerage team business, can really grow is by selling more houses, right? Well, how's selling more houses going in 2023? Right? So how else can you grow your businesses without using the same resources that you have now within real estate, but bolt on ancillary businesses. Yeah, right. Like I have a list of 120,000 leads. What can I sell them? Solar, mortgage, insurance, pest services, property management. The list goes on.
Right.
Are you hitting your current list with more offers? Because another way you grow is more products / offers.
Yeah, and it's so hard to think outside the box. And let's really dive into that today if we have time. So we got AI leverage, which I absolutely love that concept. And really that's part of the reason we put together Reside as a platform for teams to bolt on and have massive leverage out of the gate. Work the big rocks that work, because I've seen teams and agents, you've seen this, in an attempt to leverage, they bog themselves down with management and they increase their expense. So their capital expenditures go up, their payroll goes up, their software goes up, and they have less time. And that wasn't the goal at all. So what did you find? Back to Inman, let's talk about, I'm really interested because I wasn't there. What's trending? What's trending? What were you hearing about the marketplace, about technology? Where's the real estate industry going? What's happening with teams? Pick any one of those avenues.
Dude, it was so much focus on AI.
Really?
There was all these vendors out there doing all this AI stuff with AI, and just so happened there was an AI event next door. Or from that, and there was a black hat, like SEO hacker thing next door too. So it was weird, like all the tech coming in with real estate at the same time. Like they were saying that the black hat hacker conference was like hacking the elevators and people's cell phones at the hotel. Like, but back to Inman AI, and I think it's becoming even more evident that if you are not leveraging some form of AI into your business or life, you will be behind the ball. We've been saying this for almost a year,
right?
Longer. So, and I don't think that people out there, our listeners and viewers, need to go and start by spending a bunch of money on something .ai, right? Like, I think my budget on AI software right now, subscription to like $120 a month. I did scale it way back, but it's like $120 a month.
Yeah, because you were testing a lot of new.
I was testing everything.
Yeah.
I think like use Chat GPT is going to do almost everything that you need, Mr. Listeners, everything that Nick and I need. We use Opus a bit, and I use HeyGen a bit, just for content. But the main thing that I want people to think about is to think really big when it comes to AI. You have an army of 10,000 people working for you 24/7 at the cost of $20 a month for a premium account on ChatGPT, right? So how big can you think? Once you think that big and get the ideas, tech-enabled outsourcing, right? Or higher leverage, tech-enabled outsourcing to get your big thoughts into action.
Yeah, and Suneet and I we did an AI course on this right out of the gate last year. I mean, we saw the potential of this when it came out in November, and we were like, oh my gosh, we got to learn it and have a workshop. And so we actually had a group of, for the listeners that don't know, we have 30, 40 people join in and work on AI. We were their guide.
Yeah.
And it's all about getting, I think it's not all about, but it compresses the time it takes to take an idea into content. Right? So you got an idea, you got a prompt, you take that, it creates the content, and then you refine the content, and then you have to deliver the content. I think for a lot of people, it's the execution of those ideas. Execution is key to success in all businesses. I know lots of team leaders, lots of agents that don't sell as many homes as you and don't sell as many homes as me, Suneet. And they have lots of great ideas. I mean, I talk to them every single day. They got a new idea. And, but they don't execute. They don't get it out. The time it takes an idea to execution is sometimes for them, never. And for us, it's oftentimes really, really fast. And Jon taught me that. Jon Cheplak taught me that. Like sometimes we will be on a call together and an idea, he will execute it while we're talking. Right? And you're kind of the same way too.
Yeah, massive action, like Jon says, right?
Yeah. So it's like, that Opus.pro is one that you've introduced me to. I've been using it. I think it's cool for people that use video, but you already have to be doing video for that to be a powerful tool for you. So what it does is you want to explain what Opus does?
I mean, Opus is really cool because it's free. I think there's a paid version now, but I haven't even hit the button because I don't know need to. But you could take any YouTube video. It doesn't have to be yours. You can take any YouTube video and it'll edit it into shorts. Now, I don't know about the copyright rules around YouTube and posting it on, but I know that I think it's 4 Chris and 3 editors in the Philippines and 1 who work full time for me and 1 editor outsourced in Romania. So 4 or 5 editors trying to make a ton of content, and Opus, like, we're able to refine that content and give more or less time, and just, it's not perfect, but it's free. So Opus.pro is great. There's no affiliate link. Like I said, it's free. I wish you had one.
Well, so Jon, our partner at Reside, and one of the best known elite high production coaches out there, he was on stage at Inman. And what was that talk about? Because I saw the article that came out. The article was called Jon Cheplak Doles Out Tough Love to Brokers on Agent Attrition.
Yeah, I mean, just like there's always like, and you know this from coaching and being a leader, and I know this, part of that was, hey, you're not recruiting them, right? Part of it was quit trying to put people through all these extra friction levers, friction mechanisms to not get them to join your organization. You've heard me say this. Many people have. I'll pretty much hire anybody if you got a license and a pulse. Being hired and being productive and getting opportunities is 3 different things, right? So one of the main messages was like, how do you, continue to recruit? Don't have an excuse not to recruit. I'm sure you've had a coaching client, Nick, that says, oh, I want to take a break from recruiting for a bit. Have you ever heard that?
Yes. And I've heard, hey, I want to take a break from coaching because I need time to implement this stuff. And then I'll start recruiting. Then I'll be ready, right? They're waiting for this perfect onboarding process, lead source that's going to allow them to bring someone in.
Or how many more leads do I need to buy for every agent that I bring on? None.
Right? In fact, that's an interesting one because we had a mastermind. As we do, we have private masterminds that reside in our worlds, and behind closed doors, you could have these conversations. And that was a common one. How many leads do I need per agent? Do I need to go out and buy? Right. And we're like, whoa, wait a second. You probably have everything you need right now.
Yes.
How many of your leads do you currently have that have 8 phone calls, 8 text messages? Right. And very few for you.
And how many tens of thousands do you have that have never been spoken to?
Also it's like, I think with attrition right now, there's an overreaction in the marketplace to a loss. This feeling of loss. Over the last 3 years, every team, every agent has had an experience of growth. Not everyone, but a lot of average sales price went up. Average commissions went up. Yeah, sales went down sometimes because it was scarce, but agent count went up on most teams. And now we're experiencing, did you think that business was all about always growing? You know, it's not. This is business, and business, you should be prepared or predict that there's going to be times in which you contract.
Yeah, you will expect to lose 30% all the time. And it's super interesting. Full transparency, I started the year, and I'm going to give rough numbers, but I haven't looked since Monday. I started the year with 105 agents on my team. And I'm not sure about the brokerage number, so we'll just talk about the team. 105 agents on my team. Last Monday, I had 101 agents on my team, right? I recruited like 50 people to my organization during that same time, right? But what's happened is there's been so many people who have come to the realization that regardless of being on my team, you have access to this, having access to this, still got to work. Right? And that is going to be even if I give you an appointment with a hot already buyer, you still got to go close up. You still got to be smart. But those agents, many of them have dropped their licenses because I look when they leave. I think we've lost 2 of those 50 that have gone, 2 productive agents where it was kind of a bummer, maybe 1. And it's going to happen. So, and the attrition will happen. How do you overcome that? You recruit nonstop.
In business, it's, are you open? As a real estate agent, as a solo agent, I learned this early on. So I don't know if it was a coach or a mentor said to me, what are your business hours? It's like, well, what do you mean? Well, are you open? When you're open for business? And a lot of agents, if they don't answer their phone, you're not open. If you don't have an ad going or marketing going to attract sellers, you're not open. Don't be a secret agent. Don't be a secret agent. It's hard. This business is hard enough. It's competitive enough that you can't be hiding behind a laptop or avoiding the industry and thinking that business is going to come your way. That's not how business works. You have to market, advertise, put yourself out there. You have to become a public figure. And so if you take that principle to teams, you have to be open for business. You have to be hiring. You have to have a hiring ad not when you need agents, all the time. Like honestly, Suneet, there's teams out there that only put ads out part of the year.
I know, dude.
It's shocking, right? At Reside, we share your Indeed ad, right? And every time you share your Indeed ad, all of a sudden they get action.
Yeah.
Applicants. I had a friend of mine called me last night. He just said, "Hey, Nick, I just got to give you a call." It's like, "What's up?" He said, "You'll be so proud of me." I was like, "Why would I be so proud of you?" I just hired 2 agents. Yeah. Absolutely. Congratulations. He has 10 agents, high productive per agent productivity, super high, amazing team. I go, "Congratulations. You just increased your business size by 20%. That's a big gain." It's a big gain. I think it's eye-opening to people. So when it comes to attrition, everyone goes, "Okay, well, how do I retain?" Was retention part of the conversation?
I mean, I'm trying to think back. It's been a long couple of days. Just this, the way that Jon really says it, right? Meeting the people where they're at, creating, and this other thing, like, you're not going to make anybody productive, right? I think so many team leaders think that I know that I thought this. There's some special script or some surgeon like Ninja Voodoo that's going to turn somebody around and make them into a productive agent. The simple fact that there isn't, right? So with that being said, you just got to create the environment that facilitates productivity, which we've done. You do that through different exercises, different, practices. And those are the kind of things that real estate leaders are hung up on. Like there's some secret. How about the secret is you provide value and you're a good person.
Yeah.
And you facilitate these accountability exercises like we do. And I'm all about it because I've figured out that if you master the simplicity, the simple part of accountability, leadership does it. I'm saying simple over and over again because leadership can become simple then, right? As if you just make sure that you lean hard on those couple accountability exercises that we always do. Let's go to the board, self-directed work groups, right? And feedback loops.
And they're typically, if you look at the exercises that work, they're around 6 weeks long. They're not one. I think where team leaders, agents, they get a good idea. They come in hot for that one team meeting. And then guess what? This used to happen to me. The next team meeting or the next week, you got a new idea and a new idea and a new idea. And your teams, it's cool. It's entertaining to them that you're always coming up with new ideas, but you know what they're saying behind your back? And this happened to me, Suneet. I came up with a new idea, roll out a new procedure. This is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. And I'm going to hold you accountable. They get out of the meeting. They go, don't worry, everybody. He'll come up with something new next week and forget all about this one. They literally said that about my leadership. This was about 8 years ago. And I found out about it. And it was eye-opening. It was like, oh, I'm the problem. Because I have great ideas and I execute, have a good procedure. I put it in writing, but I'm changing too much. So, a lot of times it's sticking with it. And, what is it? It's August now. We just had our best month of the year. So not to brag, but I could draw it back to 90 days ago. I rolled out scoreboards and leaderboards, making it visible of their metrics, not top-down to-do list, but just making it visible. Here are your numbers. And I got a ton of pushback. I don't need to see those numbers. It doesn't motivate me. Stop showing it to me. You're trying to micromanage me. And I got to tell you, Cindy, all I did was email them their numbers. Like, here are your numbers from Follow Up Boss. That's all I'm doing. I'm not judging you at all. But they were seeing that as a micromanaging, basically saying to me, don't do this. Stop. Go away. And I said to every single one of them, I said, I will not stop this. This is going to happen every single Friday. Every single Friday. Not stopping it. Not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to change. This is all we're talking about. And guess what? We had our best run. Right. And so I think part of, you can't make people motivated. You can't do the work for them. You can only create an environment in which they can choose to be productive, hopefully choose productive. And the way I think about it is, how do I direct their focus to real estate? How do I direct their focus to real estate? Not tell them what to do necessarily. Now, train them on how to do things, but not do top-down to-do list, but like just focus their energy. Because the only thing that matters in life is what you focus on. In that moment, in the present moment, we learned this from Robert Cialdini. If you look at all these other human behavior things, you learn this from Tony Robbins. What you focus on expands.
Yeah.
And so as a team leader, not all, but if you can master the art of leadership in which you direct your team's focus towards something that will be productive, you will win. And so if that's a training, if that's a sales meeting, if that's an email, a Slack message, a video, a marketing piece, right? Suneet, you do a lot of marketing pieces. I think your agents probably see that, and it probably reminds them they're aligned with the leader that's putting video out there and is in real estate.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you got to lead from the front. I don't think anybody who works for me doesn't know that I work harder than them.
I make a conscious effort to send a message out in the morning so that, and you can schedule this out. It could be a group email. It could be a Slack message, whatever your message board is to the people you lead. I want to send a message out that they will see when they wake up. I'm hoping it's at the top of their inbox, and I'm hoping they open their inbox, right? And then when they get on Facebook, I'm hoping they read one of my posts. And as a reminder that we're not, look at me, I'm a leader, do what I'm doing, but you're in real estate and every day is an opportunity. And I think Follow a Boss and different CRMs are opportunities to, like, how do you get them to work in the CRM more? Well, I don't know, maybe talk about the CRM more. Leaderboard is a great way to do it.
Shout out to our partner, Preston Guyton, because, they scaled that brokerage fast. Right? Like, what is it? 1,200 transactions to 18 months for the startup? Fast.
Yeah.
And his focus, one of his focuses in that was leaderboard activity.
Leaderboard activity, which he would love to talk about it right now. Like, he does a point system, right? And that's part of the leaderboard is Follow a Boss as a point system. And we created our own point system.
12,000 points too? No?
Yeah, 12,000 points.
But you're counting the appointments.
We're counting the appointments.
Yeah, it's too hard to take him out of so much harder.
Yeah. Yeah. So for people that aren't familiar with the point systems, tell people about the point system.
Yeah. So here, let me bring up Follow Boss so I can actually say exactly what it is. Because it gives points. And number one, shout out to Follow Boss. Great guys. Great to see Stacy, Ricardo, Andrew this weekend. I'm going to be announced later today as one of the speakers for FubCon. So that's always good. I mean, good for me, right?
Awesome for FubCon. And Jon will be there too. I think Preston maybe will be down there. That's in LA this year.
It's in LA and it's soon.
Wow.
Soon.
To roll into Follow Boss. So Follow Boss created a point system for key activities. One being, and Cindy's going to pull up the points if you can find them, but one being an appointment. So if you log an appointment, which is a big deal, that's a really, really big deal. Not just, recurring appointments, but if you get your agents to log appointments in the CRM, that's a big deal because they're putting on his calendar. Yeah, like that's a big deal. That's a big momentum builder. I show me your calendar and I'll kind of tell you your income. I can look at agents' calendars and let them know how they're going to end up real quick. So that's a big one.
So the way that points work is you get 500 points for an appointment, which is why Preston took it out.
Because it's a big one, because you can game this system by just logging appointments.
Gamify it,
yeah. But, hopefully you have team members that want to grow and track the right way so they kind of predict their income.
Well, for example, one of my top agents, she's been with me forever. Her name is Geneva Lover. Shout out to you, G Money is what I call her. And she logs every callback as an appointment. So her appointment number is very high. However, she also makes more calls than every ISA on my team. So it works. So it's
500 points for an appointment.
500 per appointment. Thank you. 100 for a 2-minute phone call.
Okay, 100 points for a 2-minute phone call. So what's that?
2 minutes or longer.
2 minutes or longer. This is really important to think about because I look at recorded phone calls. I've been having recorded phone calls. Zillow does recorded phone calls. But prior to that, I had numbers, phone systems that record conversations for training purposes. But here's the thing. I can look at the length of phone call and pretty much tell you whether or not it was good or not. If it's less than 2 minutes, you can bet it didn't go very well. Even if they got the appointment, they didn't give much information, right? So that 2-minute mark is really important. So if you can get your team to have longer conversations, you are going to increase your conversion rate.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So 100 for a 2-minute phone call.
Yep.
2 minutes longer. 10 points for any kind of call attempt.
Call attempts.
2 points. No, 2 points for a text message. And 1 point for an email. And I believe, well, let me just give some input for our listeners and viewers of emails is turn off batch emailing in your Follow Boss account, or somebody will, without meaning to do it any sort of kind of malicious way, they're going to email every lead that you have, right? That they can. So that's, I think that the lower point makes a lot of sense.
Lower point. So, and so we recommend 12,000 points for a month.
What I said was, we have ISAs and direct agent appointments. I said, look, if you're not converting at twice the average, not the average, double the average, then you need to get 12,000 points if you're going to get any leads that next month.
Right. If you're getting results.
Yeah. Good.
It's the old Jimmy Johnson, the head coach of the Cowboys. He was asked a question about Emmitt Smith, he was asked a question about sleeping during film sessions. Ever heard that?
Yes.
And so I always love it because it's like, okay, so what do you do if someone's sleeping during your film session? Well, he's like, well, if it's a rookie, they're in trouble. They might get cut off the roster. They might not make the cut. Probably. Or they have some extra PT, which is running, right? Physical punishment. Okay, what do you do with Emmitt Smith? Well, he said, Emmitt Smith, if you don't know, is the all-time leading rusher, yards gained. Probably not going to be a record that's going to stay there for a while. He said, I'm going to put the biggest lineman next to him. So when he falls asleep, he has a place to put his head. Right?
I love that story.
It's something along those lines. And it's true to a certain extent with our teams, right? You do have top producers. And sometimes top producers are like, hey, Nick, I'm doing my work, man. I'm doing all the things and more. I mean, they're relentless. They truly are getting up every day, motivated, making their calls, super responsive. Usually the top performers are relentlessly responsive to their clients, all hours of day. Like that client experience is an all-time high. And it's hard to teach that, right? And so they're doing the things, they just aren't logging in the information. Some are like, G there, right? They're logging.
Oh, yeah. She loves it. Everything.
Loves it. They also
our top performer, and where Jasmine Simkera, shout out to Jasmine. Jasmine sells about 100 houses a year with maybe one admin, one VA, single mom of 2 little kids, 1 older kid. Like, she's working. Her leaderboard points are fine, because she hired leverage to make sure that she gets it. Right? Circle, which is fine. Hey, like, you still got it. If you want to leverage yourself so you can be more productive, great.
Here's something that I have to consciously think about as a leader. Should. Removing should from my language. Hi, team, you should get 12,000 points. You should be making your phone calls. You should be making this XYZ PDQ. Versus, this is the standard at the company, or it's 12,000 points a month in order to be on leads, consequence, or here's the leaderboard I don't need to say a word. You can see the numbers, right? And then the people that are at 12,000 or more, guess what? They get the acknowledgement, right? They get a lunch out with the team, on the team. They get, you know what I'm saying? So what you don't want to do is set a standard and then never talk it, never show it, never track it, never inspect it. If 12,000 is your number, show it every, once a month,
Every opportunity, show it.
at the team. Yeah, at the team meeting. And I had an agent on my team, and she goes, Nick, I'm not motivated by that point system. I'm motivated by the sales numbers. She said, if I'm number 3 or 4, that motivates me to try to get to number 1 or 2 in her sales numbers. And she's always in my top 3. And I said, Roger that. So guess what? We do the point system and we do sales numbers. What? Duh. Right? Seems obvious, but not everyone executes on that one.
No. And there's going to be people that get opportunities that people that aren't going to. It's on them, not on me.
Now back to Inman, because you were nominated for top or best. I think agent/team. So congratulations for being nominated. That's pretty big deal.
Dude, it was such a surprise. Like I think I got an email from Inman and I was like, oh, my name's on there. It was that dude, Mauricio from the TV shows.
Yeah, from the agency.
Yeah, so from the agency, like Legend, right? It was him. It was this other guy. It was that other Jason Mitchell who has like 40 teams around the country and just crushes it. So like, duh. Jordan Cohen, who ended up winning, who seems like you know a little bit more about, somebody else, and me. You should probably see who the other person was. Do you have the list up there?
I don't have the list up.
So if you want to know on what it is, man, go ahead and look it up on Inman. But maybe that's part of me like having an imposter syndrome because I am top agents teams in the country. But it was super cool, and I was all like, I got nominated for something cool, and I don't know how the nominations work. I don't know how the voting works because I didn't push any votes out, right? So that was super cool, man. Thanks, really cool. Say thank you to everybody at Inman always for all the opportunities and creating that kind of environment where, like, one of the really cool things for me at Inman has been to, like, we call it LobbyCon, right? Because in the lobby, in the hallways are where the magic conversations happen. I got to hang out with Robert Slack's team. Robert doesn't travel much anymore, but his daughter, Lauren, Dan Walters, who runs the show, and Ryan Town, who's new to the team, and Kat, who runs the team. We hung out all week. And throughout my career, that whole organization has been just so supportive and helpful to me. And it's like that's the biggest team in the country, I think, right? Number 1 or number 2. So being able to have them as friends and idea generators has been great. To be able to hang out with them was massive, right? Also got to spend some time with 2 of probably my best friends, also in the real estate space, DJ and Lindsay De La Salle. So shout out to the De La Salles. And they also are doing big things, and I'm learning from them, and they're consistently growing and just really doing really, really big things. Got to hang out with Gary Jenkins, another one of my great friends, and Aaron Franklin, right? Really good. Got to hang out with Anthony Jean, another great team. Got to hang out with our friend a bunch, Michael Perna, right? Everyone loves Perna from Detroit. And so many others that, names I will forget. And also, so as I'm finding inspiration and some motivation from these people, there's a ton of people there finding inspiration and motivation from me. So being able to put that forward and, let people know, what inspired me to get to where I'm at. I still haven't been an agent for 10 years, right? Ninth year. I have a crazy background story of how I even ended up in real estate, right? So like, that's inspirational for a lot of people, and it should be. So just great event. And I saw Jon post this on Facebook earlier today too. But, you know, this is definitely testimony to where I'm at is you must travel. You must go to events. You must put yourselves in these rooms, because that's something that I did always, still do. You know, in real estate, outside of real estate, you know, I had lunch, I had dinner with Perry, I hung out at his office all day too on Monday. So they got some cool new software coming out. I probably can't announce it on the podcast, but Perry I saw him launch it from his office. Sick.
Cool.
Sick, yeah. It'll be something that I'll be spending money on for sure. But you must put yourselves in these rooms and these environments if you want to grow. You know, you're the sum of the five people, or what is Neil?
Jim Rohn says that. Yeah, Napoleon. Yeah, you're the average of the five people you hang out the most with.
Yeah. And I hang out, like, you're one of the five people I hang out with most, if you make me out smarter. So thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's what it is. And I think that's part of, you know, when we created Reside, that was a must, was 2 events a year. Now, we would do more than 2 events a year if it was, you know, we still got to do the work and execute it in the office. You know, you just got to go back and do it. But, you know, it's not all about that. But, you know, even going back to Jon's house, people are still have lots of momentum from the last mastermind that we had, still implementing those ideas. And what's cool is we're also part of groups, Reside being one, where there's a weekly mastermind call. Like, there's a weekly call going on, right? As people implement, right? When someone's on stage and they kind of give you the idea, they're giving you the perfect scenario. They're giving you the A to Z based on hindsight bias. Like, if I were to do it over again, this is how I do it, and it would work perfectly. Nothing would go wrong, right? Right. And when you go out there and do it, it's a little bit different. There's some questions that pop up, lots of questions. And so you have that group of people like us that you can bounce ideas off of or get unstuck. Like, what's kind of cool that's coming up soon is Simple Numbers. Shout out to Andy Mulholland. We've never talked about him on the podcast, so we got to have him on.
We should have him on.
We should totally have him on. He is a bookkeeper that does the books for our Reside clients and you, Suneet, right? And it's eye-opening for a lot of people. Scary to see the numbers, but eye-opening to actually make decisions based on the data, not on a feeling. There's been times in my business, I don't know, maybe you can talk about it, I'm making decisions based on an emotional feeling that I'm losing money, and it turns out I'm not. And I overreacted, I overcut, my sales meeting sucked, right? And there's also times where I think I'm doing great, and I'm overspending.
Well, that's just that's the journey of being an entrepreneur when you don't know. Like, something really great that we're doing in Reside is saying, you need your books.
Yeah.
Like, the books must be done. So starting people out on that path, I think, is going to be a superpower for us. And at the same time, give the real data to our teams and brokerages that are at the Reside platform. Because, dude, and I've been guilty of it forever, is, I feel like I want to do some more sales. I'm going to spend 10 more grand a month on leads. Well, Suneet, did you have 10 more grand a month? Did you even have a business bank account to put it in? Did you even have a business credit card to get some damn points on? Yes. I did it for the longest time. I was spending 40, 50 grand a month on Realtor.com from like a personal credit card. Or no, not a personal credit card, from direct debit from my account. And Jon calls me, he's all, dude, how many points do you think you're losing? And let me tell you, I use points not for everything, including
they're reading a lot. In fact, there's some cards, as you know, Amex being one level of Amex, where they give you triple or quadruple on marketing spend.
Amex Gold, yeah.
Amex is a gold, is either triple or quadruple. So if you're spending $40K a month, that's a lot of points.
Well, yeah, and I think it's 6x.
Yeah, 6 cents.
So
these little things over time add up to a lot and improve the quality of your life quite a bit too. You know, I remember we were in Tahoe and I'm staying at a nice room in Tahoe. And I'm like, Suneet, what room are you in? And you're like, I'm in like the cabin.
right here.
Yeah, I get my own house. I say, your own house. Isn't everyone in the hotel block? She's like, no, bro. I'm an Amex status dude. I was like, oh, got it. Yes, there's levels. There's levels to everywhere. So we're helping people get the leveled up. We want people to level up. We want people to level up. It is also, not that it matters, but I think we should make a point. You're running a business, have a business bank account, not a personal account. Okay. Also a credit card for your business expenses.
Yes.
Do that now.
More than, you know what? And I'm going to give everyone this advice. More than one credit card for your business expenses. You want to leverage these other opportunities, right? And I really recommend just go with American Express, get Platinum, get a Gold. If you have administrative staff, get them a card, put a limit on it, $2,000 a month so you can control it. But these things compound. And you can use those points to buy for more leads, to spend more leads. You can use these points for all kinds of stuff. In fact, I was talking to, I think it was Lindahl last year, Chris Lindahl, shout out to Chris. And he's saying like how many points he has. This is number one, he markets more than everybody.
Yes.
He has 400 or 500 billboards, something crazy, right? I mean, I don't know the exact number, but I feel like it's a lot.
It's a lot.
And he's like, yeah, I use my points for everything. It's really good.
Really, really good. And with talking about leverage, one of your speaking engagements, if you don't have your books, you're going to be scared to delegate the control of actually spending money because you won't trust them. If you don't know your numbers, your financials, you will never be able to trust someone with a credit card. Nor would I want you to give an employee a credit card if you're not looking at your credit card statement.
Yeah.
You follow me? So you put a limit on it. And I know this for a fact. I used to be the one running to get office supplies or having to log into Amazon or having to make the purchases early in my career because I had too much control over the money. And I didn't know how to put the controls in place to protect myself. And now, yeah, my top employees have credit cards and they know the rules. They have to get authorizations for spends over a certain amount. I review the numbers. My accountant knows when to flag things as, over the top or like, wait a second, office supplies are normally $600 a month. Why are they all of a sudden $12,000? Right? Or whatever. And so those are really key insights that I think people should have. And I also think, you should have another account. You have a checking. And for the teams that are sitting on a lot of dry powder, hopefully, right? Lots of cash. Not right now, but that's the goal, right? You can put the money somewhere that's higher yield. You can disperse it to yourself as an owner because you're operating as a LLC or a corporation. Disperse it as an owner and you do what you want with it. Talk to your accountant or hold it somewhere that gets a better yield. Right now, there's places 4, 5, 5.5% on your money.
Money for account.
Yeah.
Put it in there.
$250,000 right now in roughly a 5% return is $1,000 a month in interest, right? So it's not nothing. These things are important.
Well, and then as you build that up and you get a relationship with the bank, like you could start getting credit lines. And I'm not telling you to spend it, but it feels really good to have a couple extra $100,000 that I could access in case I need to, or if I have to do payroll, maybe my month prior was really bad because everything in the pipe isn't closed until next week, which happens in real estate, right? And if, not that I've had to be in that place yet, but it could happen, right? And just having that comfort of having that credit line, pretty damn sweet.
It's pretty sweet.
Not worth 2 years, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. And, as I always look for the next deal for my team is having relationships with a local bank or a big bank, but with a really good bank representative for you, because you're giving lots of deposits that can and will refer you business.
COI, baby.
Can and will, and they know it, right? And so, for example, I have my own building, which is really cool. It was one of the dreams of mine. It was one of my goals, was to own my own building in which I could pay myself a lease. And I think everyone out there, that should be, if you're going to be in business for the next 10 years or longer, right? You should be looking for a building. Like, pick your spots, and, you can talk to me about my experience with it. Have patience, but you get your own building in a multi-tenant building where other people pay your rent. I got a commercial loan, and that commercial broker strategically wanted my business, number one. Number two, the bank wanted my business. Number three, they work with other people that own commercial buildings, and those people I want to know. And so, I call him up and he gives me intel about the market. He also has clients that he sends my way. And it's awesome. And guess what? I send commercial business his way. I do residential, but as a residential agent, you still get commercial deals here and there, right? Now, hopefully you're working with some high net worth individuals, right, that also want commercial property or own commercial property. So it's all about the ascension, Suneet. So where should we end it for everybody today?
Well, I just want to encourage people to just get out there. Right? Maybe it's not, and maybe the traveling is out of your budget, which I understand. There's something local happening, and there's something virtual that's always happening, right? Get out there, meet like-minded people, build your network, learn, and implement fast, implement hard. I think that if you have some level of focus on that, you can really grow. I mean, look at me.
Yeah, and look at me. And don't have imposters. I would say there's imposter syndrome. Don't think you wait to get in those rooms once you hit a certain number. Like, I'm going to get in that room when I start selling 200 homes, 300 homes, 400 homes, 1,000 homes. No, it's not how it works. No, that's not how it works. I put myself in a room when I was selling 60 homes a year with people doing 300, 400, 500. And back in that time was ridiculous, right? You and I did the same thing with Jon. We put ourselves in the room where people were doing more. We did. And you hang out. There's power in the proximity of it. You can buy the courses, and buy our courses. We'd love for you to buy the courses, right? And you can watch the replays, but it's not the same as meeting the person, whether it's virtually, building a relationship, or it's physically in these rooms we're talking about. Seek those opportunities out, because they will change the trajectory of your career.
Like, we were, that first Cheplak event in Vegas, sat next to you, sat next to Gary Ashley. Gary was still number one, and I met him briefly at Inman, actually years prior. And I hung out with Gary all week, and it's somebody that is a mentor, and it's like that relationship has made me money and taught me stuff about life and music and Nashville. So get out there, meet people, and implement.
Yeah. So also, some of the top, here's why you shouldn't have imposter syndrome, or that you believe you don't belong. Some of the top people, let's say Gary Ashley, for instance, Justin Happer, Chris Lindahl, you. It's one thing to get to the top. It's another thing to stay there. Right? And so they want these new ideas. They want to know what you're doing, because if you're at the 100, 200, 300, 400, 500 unit mark, chances are you're taking risks. You're hustling. You're innovating. You're in the trenches. And when you start getting up into this ivory tower, you lose touch with what got you there. And so I see it all the time. I see some people you think would never be in the room taking notes when someone's up there talking. And sometimes it's something they did in the past, but they forgot they did that. They're like, oh yeah, I used to do that all the time. Or I used to have my agents do that all the time. I got to go back to that. I got to go back there. And sometimes it's something innovative where it's like YouTube, marketing, video, AI. And they're like, oh, got to get someone on that when I get back home.
Dude, just during this conversation, I haven't done a top performer election in a while. Well, I mean, in my own defense, I've been gone.
Sure.
But it's something I should be doing that I'm going to remember and task somebody as soon as this is done to get back to schedule.
I think why we do these podcasts is so we can take notes silently to implement in our business.
Although we talk every day still, yes. Like,
well, we're going to get Preston on here. We're going to get some guests. You know, if you like this show and you want to hear from Andy and about the bookkeeping and how to get your numbers simplified and so you can make data-driven decisions, get in the comment bar, like the podcast, where we're at Apple, iTunes. We need that juice. We want to hear from you. Or if you're on YouTube,
we need to get Cheplak on.
We totally need to get Cheplak on. Yeah. So like, subscribe, comment, leave us a review. We really appreciate it.
Yeah. We'll see you guys on the next episode of the Reside Platform Podcast.